Just recently, I read The End of the World is Just the Beginning, which is a new book by Peter Zion. I've got a video coming out about this on the weekend, so be sure to check for that as well. And I've got an article coming in the National Post in the coming weeks talking about the Canada Pension Plan. All of these things are starting to come together here. So what Zion talks about is the end of globalization. So we've all seen what has been going on in the past number of years, how NATO is now being under threat and might be disintegrating, how trade routes and alliances are being threatened, how there are wars that are breaking out, and a lot of the things that have gone on that have been accretive to the world, the global economy, through liberalized trade and through peace and the so-called peace dividend of the things that have happened in the post-World War II era, and especially in the post-Berlin Wall coming down era, are now starting to revert back to the world that we knew perhaps before 1939. What that means for Canadians is especially important because what we've been doing in Canada is we've been trying to get ahead of the game up until very recently by having a very large number of immigrants come in to help deal with the demographic bomb that we were dealing with because we weren't having enough live births to supplant the people that were retiring. So we needed to bring more people in. That happened for a number of years under Harper and under Trudeau. But now, under Carney, we've come to realize that, maybe we went a bit too far and we've got a housing problem. And so immigration has gotten to the point where the population of Canada actually declined in Q4 of 2025. This is something that we all need to think about in terms of what it means for the economy, for the stock market, and for public pension plans, because we need to be able to have people that are contributing to the workforce, paying into the system, paying taxes, so that older people like, I guess I have to say me, will someday retire and be able to do so with the full knowledge that there will be enough people working to support the pension plans that they are relying on. One of the things that Zion talks about is that this is a problem around the world, and there are only a few countries, Mexico being perhaps the most beneficial in terms of having a lot of live births in the developing world. Mostly parts of the world that are actually still having enough live births are in sub-Saharan Africa, which are complete basket cases. Pretty much the entire Western world is running at below replacement rate. And so the way that we can actually keep economies growing in the West is through immigration. But that becomes a challenge of its own. So what we have to think about here in Canada is, what will we do with our immigration policy going forward? How long will we keep these spigots closed to deal with the housing problem before the demographic problem catches up with us? And we need to start bringing in more people to keep our pension plans intact. That will have an impact on jobs, on employment, and on the viability of the Canadian economy. I don't know what the answer is, but please pay attention, because I think it is one of the most under-discussed issues in public finance these days. This has been Weekly Wealth Update, a Make Better Wealth Decisions podcast dedicated to explaining how current events impact your portfolio and the wealth decisions you make. Tune in for commentary on how the news of the week affects your portfolio and your thinking.